pro boxing is dangerous. It is, you know, it's at the end of the day, people can die. It's a very serious thing. But at the end of the day,
really hard sport.
It's human. Like, I think fighters are modern day gladiators. That's what it is. We don't fight with swords and shields anymore. We put gloves on and we have a tear up like that.
That's
you know?
a nice way of saying. Ladies, gentlemen, coaches, athletes, supporters, promoters, welcome to More Than Sports podcast, a new podcast in the industry of podcast, I guess.
That's it.
I'm here with Leon Musson, soon to be professional boxer, and I'm your host, Tara. I'm here to uncover the tales behind the ring, the gloves, behind fights. I want to uncover the untold stories about our favorite sports, one episode at a time. Obviously, today, first episode, I'm a bit excited, a bit shaky. I'm talking about boxing.
That's
right? We are talking about boxing. Together we'll explore the profound impact of the sport and the lives of athletes, when they're not wearing their equipment and training. Grab your gloves, sit back, and let's chat about it. I want to start by asking you, your career overview, what got you into boxing, why boxing?
I suppose what started me off is nothing spectacular really, but what it was is my mum one day, she said, "Oh, I'm going to this new gym," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and she says, "There's this guy down there taking people on pads teaching boxing." So I just went down and tried it. There was no sparring, nothing like that. It was literally just a guy who had boxed, doing a bit of pads and this and that, and fitness sort of thing. But I was the only guy going for weeks. I took a couple of mates along the way, but they dropped off, and it was basically just 1-to-1s every week. So eventually, because he had no one coming, the guy packed it in, and then I went home and I said, "Oh, you know what? I really like that. I want to go to a real boxing club and give it a go." So I went to a gym in Sheffield called Sheffield Boxing Centre, and walked in there on the first day, and first off they made me run round the block, and you were basically racing everyone else there. There was loads of people there. It was a really full gym. I was blowing out my arse straight away. I was tired, and we went in the gym and sparred. Obviously I'd never sparred before. I got chucked straight in with people who had years experience.
All right, that must have been scary, that.
Well, yeah, I was 11, and on my first day I got beat. I might have been 10. So on my first day I got beat up by a kid 2 years younger and a lot smaller. So he was either 8 or 9, I'm not sure, but I remember it hurt. I was very, very close to never going back, but I did, and that was the turning point, I think, for me in my life. That had a massive impact. If I'd have never gone back on that one day, and I was literally this close, then things would have been very, very different in my life now.
I'm guessing during athlete career you quite experience a few times this type of feeling, right? You experience failures, and it can be like a constant line of success, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially on your first day, I don't think anyone has a big feeling of success on that first day, especially in boxing. I feel like a lot of people, depending on the sort of gym you go to, if it's a gym that's keen on getting people straight into sparring, it tests your character straight away. Yeah. And you might get hurt, you know what I mean? So it's just whether you go back. And that after the first time of going back, it gets easier and easier. So, that was my that was my first day, my first experience.
Can you please let me know like some achievements that you had till now, just so you know people know who we are talking with, you know?
Yeah. So I had my first fight when I was 11, after probably 6 months of training, I would say. Since then, I've racked up 55 fights in the amateurs.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I've had quite a lot. I am in like the top percentage of the country. A lot of people don't get to that many, you know. So yeah, I had so many when I was younger, and then I had a little break just before the pandemic started. And then, in a sense, I was lucky the pandemic started, because it meant that I didn't fall too far behind, because I only sort of fell out with boxing a bit a few months before that. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards I picked it, I moved to uni and I picked it back up again. So over time I've racked up 55 bouts. I've won, I think it's 6 regional titles, so been the county champ 6 times. I've won the Yorkshire belt. I've won the Northern Area belt, the Tyne and Wear belt. I've won the University Boxing Championships in the elite category.
All right, nice, congrats.
Yeah, I won that. I've been in a youth when I was like 16 something. I got to a youth national final, so that year I came runner up in the country. I have boxed the highest standard of people that this country's got to offer. Mm-hmm. Many of them. So,
which one was your favorite?
Well, my favourite fight?
Yeah.
Oof.
From these like achievements.
Well, I mean, my proudest achievement of them all is probably reaching that national final. Mm-hmm. Even though I was younger, I just hold that achievement. That's really dear to me. I lost by quite a big margin in that final, but to me, you know, I got there. I came runner up in the whole country, and that's a very proud achievement. As for favourite fight, that's really hard to say. I like so many of them for so many different reasons. I don't think I could choose one particular favourite fight.
Mm-hmm. Any knockouts?
Yeah, I've knocked out 6. I've never been stopped myself. I have got a memory of a fight that I particularly enjoyed sort of recently, just before Christmas. I boxed a lad called Liam Huntley on the Morden show in Newcastle. That was an exciting fight, just because in the second round I got a cut, but they never stopped it, and blood was pouring down my face for the whole time, but I managed to dig in and get the win. So, you know, that.
So you can just wipe the blood off and move on, right?
Well, yeah.
I want to start our, you know, deep conversations and all of this by telling you, obviously, this like news. I'm sure you are aware of it. We kind of spoke before a little bit about it. Boxing being excluded from the 2028 LA Olympics, right?
Yeah.
At now, the present moment. Obviously, we don't know what it may happen or what decisions, you know, the international federations and the Olympics will make in the future. I'm gonna read you something, and then obviously, just like we will just speak about it.
Yeah.
After an independent investigation in 2021 into the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics, there were a number of confirmed boxing bouts that were possibly corrupted as part of a bout manipulation scheme that was in action during the event. This source is from like the ASEAN News, written by Matt Asbury in 2022. Obviously, it's really controversial because we have different opinions on this subject from the fans, from the supporters, from brands, promoters, you know, athletes and all of that. Do you believe that this latest investigation into the probably rigged, you know, boxing matches, do you think is going to have a, impact of like the trust of the fans about like in boxing?
Boxing, people love boxing, right? But it's it's been riddled with corruption forever, really.
Okay.
And that's just then. I suppose that's just the nature of maybe the people at the top of the. I'm not sure really, but it's just always sort of been like this. Amateur boxing is, you know what? I was going to say amateur boxing is particularly bad, but the pros is the same.
Why are you saying that? Why were you saying that?
Well, if you look at, say, what you're talking about, I'm sure it was at Rio as well. If you watch Michael Conlan's fight against that Ukrainian, or was he Russian? I'm not sure. I think it was Ukraine. Then you can plainly see that there was only one rightful winner of that fight, and yet the other guy got the win, which was just ridiculous. And then if you watch in recent times, if you watch Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, you can plainly see there was only one winner of that fight, but yet it went the other way. I think in that fight I gave Taylor like 2 rounds tops, and I think he might have even been lucky to get them. So everyone likes boxing, but it is a highly corrupt sport, and they're definitely within their rights to investigate this, because at the end of the day, fighters work so hard for what they're trying to achieve, and sometimes they achieve it and it gets taken away from them on the decision. So it's not great.
Have you experienced anything like that?
I definitely think I've been on the wrong end of decisions many a time, yeah.
Many times?
Yeah, loads of times, yeah.
All right, well...
What reason there would be for people giving these decisions the other way at such a low level, I don't know, because I struggle to see what impact it would have on bigger thing, and I struggle to believe that anyone would bribe anyone, but I don't know, but maybe they do. So when a judge gets a decision massively wrong, there's 2 reasons for it. They're either incompetent, so they shouldn't be judging because they don't know what they're doing, or they're corrupt, and that's it really. I remember times where I've boxed in championships, and sometimes 2 counties box each other to eliminate one person from the tournament in the nationals. And I remember going to Liverpool probably a couple of times and feeling that I was on the wrong end of a decision, and it's happened loads.
How did that made you feel like? Did you do anything about it? Did you like asked for basically a redecision or something like that? Have you done anything about it, or you just like stayed silent because
you can't do anything about it?
Why are you saying that?
Because once a decision's been given, it's given, and that's it.
And like, there's nobody to talk to about it. There's nobody to complain to. You think?
Well, you can complain, but it doesn't mean you're going to be heard.
Okay.
In the pros, the biggest robbery in modern history, that like Taylor Catterall, that that nothing was done about that. So if I'm a young kid having a fight in the nationals in some sports hall in Liverpool or wherever else, I say Liverpool because I used to think that was a particularly bad area for this happening.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Who's gonna care enough to overturn it? Decisions don't get overturned. Really, it's not a done thing.
I'm not aware, but so you're saying it never happened, like when this wrong decision happened, and nobody took
unless there's an obvious sort of like that it can happen if there's been like a foul of some sort. So obviously I'm not into YouTube boxing, I'm not a fan of it, I don't really like it, but they are licensed fights now, they are licensed professional fights, and I don't know whether you saw KSI wipe out that other YouTuber not long ago with his elbow. That was overturned, but that was a clear foul that could be seen on video, a points decision given the wrong way, in the fans' opinion, and in most, when it's plain to see, that has never been overturned. As far as I'm aware, I'm fairly sure that a decision has never been reversed.
That's quite sad to think about. That's not. There's nothing that you as an example, as an athlete in the boxing industry, you think there's nothing to do about it. Like, do you think in the future maybe they're like the fans, the coaches, the people involved in this industry can do something about it? Do you think what would be something that you think that would change this?
Well, people are calling out for change. I'm not sure I could do it, because once a decision's been announced in the ring and on the judges' scorecards, it is written how it is. It's sort of it's hard to undo it. I don't think you can undo it, but you could potentially prevent things. So maybe screening judges better, just checking judges' background better, and keeping more of an eye on them. I'm not sure, mate. Just better judges, I think, is the way to do it. You could also maybe have more judges than 3 judges. Like sometimes there's 5, but the more judges, maybe the more accurate the score would be. Do you know what I mean? Right. That's a possibility. I mean, I don't know if you've watched it, but obviously recently that there's been another controversial decision. Vasily Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Went Devin Haney's way in the end. Loads and loads of people thought Lomachenko had done enough. That one's a bit, it depends how you're watching it, and it depends who you're giving the close rounds to. Okay. But obviously Devin Haney's an American fighter, Vasily Lomachenko's Ukrainian, and a Ukrainian boxing an American, and you've got 3 American judges and an American referee. It's just like, don't do that as well. And obviously Loma beat him up in the 10th. Really beat him up in the 10th. He won it by the biggest margin of any round in the fight. And one judge gave it Haney. So
you think maybe more technology, that we are in a area like these modern days, they just like the technology just keeps improving, and like new stuff is appearing. Do you think maybe that's gonna like, I don't know, like let's say like a robot or something that's gonna like properly, I don't know, analyze the fight or something like that? Do you think that would be like something good for the sport?
No, actually.
No, so you think still humans will be like the best version?
Some people think Haney won. And one part of the beauty of boxing for me is people can see it differently, and it's up for debate. And I like that side. I don't, when it's really obvious, obviously no one's a fan of it, but the fact that boxing is subjective to a point is part of why the sport's so great, because different people like different things, and if a robot was to do it by like some sort of algorithm of some sort and analyse it in a technological way, it could take some beauty away from the sport, I think. I don't think that would be very popular amongst boxing fans, to be fair. Okay. But you never know what can happen with
technology and everything. Yeah, that's true, I've been hearing like stuff, I'm not making statements now, but I've been hearing like they want to introduce like implement like things into the athletes' bodies to make them more powerful, or more like having more speed, and that like basically just like robotizing the body of an athlete. Really? I find that like really far away type of thing, like a really like type of like, oh really, is that even possible? But nothing can surprise me anymore with technology, right?
Well,
these days.
Yeah.
Right? Do you believe like boxing athletes they need to do more in the sports world to be recognized, by brands, by just anything that can help them out? Do you think they do more than other athletes from other sports? Is that making sense?
No, I think it depends on who you are, what sort of platform you've got, and what sort of level you got to as an amateur. When you turn professional, that's obviously when you get more sponsors, but high level amateurs do, and the highest level amateurs, when they turn over, they don't have to do so much hard things as guys who didn't get quite to the top in the amateurs, because they already have had a wide audience, they've got a bigger platform, and brands flock to them more easily because they've got a bigger following and stuff like that. It's it all depends what you did in your amateur days a lot, to be fair, and the thing is, like, the amateur, although it is the same sport, really, it's a very different thing. So a lot of the time that the top amateurs do really well in the pros, but some of them don't suit it as much as they did the amateurs. So but yeah, they get the best support because they get put straight on TV. TV deals, and brands want them. I'm not going to say that boxers have to do more than other athletes to get recognition, because it just depends on who you are and what you've done, really, just like any other sport.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very popular, so they probably don't have to do as much as some athletes to get sponsored and stuff like that, because it is a sport where you can earn money, and a lot of people watch it, and it's massively popular, whereas there's more low-key sports where people are never really going to get anything regardless, unless they're like an Olympic medalist. Do you know what I mean? Some sports, people go to the Olympics and they're still not earning a living off it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, speaking about Olympics, is it a fighter, dream to have an Olympic gold medal? Is that one of the top 3, let's say? Depends
on you. For me,
is it yours? One of your dreams?
No.
How come?
I never. Although I was in the nationals many times and I got very close a number of times, I never won a national title. So, which in itself, because of the standard of boxing in this country being so high, is a very hard thing to achieve in itself.
And it keeps growing as well, isn't it? The popularity of boxing in UK.
The boxing in this country is massive, and although we don't have as many fights at amateur level as your Russians, Ukrainians, and your Americans, and your Cubans, that we are still very competitive in the pro game, and we're up there. We've got a lot of great champions, and we're a tough nation. You know what I mean? So yeah, remind me the question.
No worries. Is it like the
an aspiration gold for the gold medal?
Yeah.
Depends who you are. So for me, I just wanted a national title. I didn't get it in the end, and now I've decided that I'm done with the amateurs. But that's what I wanted, so I never thought past that. That was all I was focused on. Obviously, along the way to wanting that, I picked up many great achievements that I'm very proud of. But it's dependent on you and what level you're operating at. I think for a lot of these guys who do get there, they probably first they want a county title, then they want a national title, then they want to win a box cup abroad, then they want to. There's many steps to go through, like Europeans, world champion. There's loads to do before you get to that stage of the Olympics.
Stage, right.
So I think it's relative to the level you're at. Many people would dream about it, but for me, it was never a massive aspiration. I always thought as the amateurs as a stepping stone to the professional ranks. the pros interest me a lot more than the amateurs. I'd rather succeed in the pros and be big time. I mean, I'd like to have succeeded top level in both, but you know, if you said, right, you can either be an amateur superstar or you can be a professional superstar and have world titles, I'd choose world titles over an Olympic gold any day of the week. But if you said, do you want to go and box at the Olympics because you're there and you know you're going to be competitive and you know I think you can win, I'd be like, let me think about that for a minute. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
Stereotypes. How do stereotypes affect the perception of the boxers, you know, in the sports world? Have you experienced stereotypes yourself? What would be the common ones that come in your mind?
I think a lot of people think boxers are stupid.
Why?
Well, because a lot of people don't understand why two men would want to get in a ring and beat each other up, you know what I mean?
Really?
Well, yeah. To most people, it just seems so far away from what they would want. Most people just want an easy life.
A comfortable life.
Yeah. Yeah, most people want a comfortable life. And the thing is, it's not what I think it is. It's like once you've tried it, if you liked it, boxing's one of them things that it gives a high that can't be achieved in any other way. That adrenaline and that rush of getting your hand raised at the end and winning a fight, that is something that cannot be. You can't get it by any other route. You know, drugs, alcohol, all this. That's not going to give you a buzz similar to winning a fight. To me, it's the best feeling in the world. There's nothing that comes anywhere near it. You know, certain people do think that boxing's for idiots. And I'm not saying you've definitely got to have something wrong with you.
Sport.
You've got to have something wrong with you.
you.
But I don't think it's full of idiots. I think it's full of every type of person you could imagine. Just like any sport, it's got every variety of person doing it. So,
how do these stereotypes you think impact the athletes? You know,
I don't think anyone cares at all.
You think?
No.
You think? I feel like boxing builds a lot of confidence.
Yeah. We're not like. What are you gonna say?
I was thinking if it would affect a boxer, mental health, and maybe they're in a low moment, maybe they failed in a fight, and then they dealing with certain stereotypes or racism and stuff like this, and they it may have an impact on them. Do you think that can be the case?
There's always, especially if you're performing at a high level and you're on TV, there's always, and you're in the public eye, there's going to be jealous people out there, internet trolls, saying certain things to you like, oh, you shit, you this, you that, you can't fight, blah, blah, blah. And that could have an effect on anyone. But as for stereotypes are things that are assumed of particular types of people, and I can't see any fighter out there caring one bit about what people stereotypically think boxers are.
Okay, so you think?
I mean that's me. Maybe some do, but I don't think there is that many stereotypes. Maybe just the one that I mentioned, or that maybe they think that fighters are uneducated.
All right, where would that come from?
Well, it's historically a poor man's sport.
Okay.
It's not a rich man's sport, is it?
Yeah. All right, like golf, like tennis, and those ones that are considered maybe I'm saying a stereotype now. That are considered
that is a stereotype. But historically, boxing is a poor man's sport. Guys are fighting for money because they're trying to feed their families, and that's the only way they can see to do it. And that's You know, in certain countries around the world, that's a big thing. I mean, if you know a fighter called Manny Pacquiao, he was fighting for food pretty much. You know, now it's more and more inclusive of all types of people. Just as time's gone on. I go to a club up here. I mentioned my old club, but obviously since I moved to Newcastle, I changed clubs because I no longer live in Sheffield. I go to a club called Tyneside Boxing Club.
Here in Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah, we're working to show people what boxing can do for individuals that aren't just boxers, as in boxing training. Teach discipline. It can give people drive. All sorts. So I actually go into schools now and teach young kids box at year 4s and 5s. It's all girls actually as well.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's all girls.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm doing that. We've got a program running where kids from the local area can, because it's a Category 1 area in the UK for poverty, Wallsend in Newcastle.
Okay.
So all the local kids are getting free membership right now because we've acquired funding, and stuff like that can help people break down the stereotype of what boxing is.
Yeah, you just said I would think, for example, that you would have just like little boys wanting to do, and you just said you have just little.
Oh, it's all girls.
Little girls. That's quite breaking. You gave a perfect example.
Well,
I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to hop in another subject, which is injuries.
Yeah. Okay.
Boxing comes with a lot of injuries. Obviously, I just have one from it as well, which is a little one. But yeah, just tell me if you ever had like a major injury during your career.
You know what? I've been insanely lucky I've never even broke my nose.
Really?
55 fights and I've sparred countless hours.
I know breaking the nose is like quite a really a common one. Yeah.
Well, I might have, but I never known about it.
You would have noticed it. I'm telling you.
I broke.
It hurts.
You know what? I've never broke my hands in the ring. I broke my hands not in the ring, flipping punching machines that give you the score. I broke my hand on one of them once.
How come? Just a
night out, and I whacked one of them.
Oh, night out. All right. UK night out.
We'll not speak about that.
Punching the machines. You break your arms in that. Sorry.
Yeah, in a takeaway.
Oh, in a takeaway.
I've had little injuries, back injuries, shoulder injuries, and little things. I used to hurt this bit quite a lot. I used to overextend when missing punches, and if someone moved out of the way, wouldn't pop out, but it'd hurt. Just little niggling things that I could combat with physiotherapy, but
so never a major one.
No.
All right,
which is
quite interesting because you've had
surprising.
55, you said, right?
55 fights.
55 amateur fights.
Been doing it for 11 years, and I've never picked up an injury as of a result of being in the ring. Not a serious one. If it was a small injury, I've almost been thankful for it for a little break.
Thankful for it, all right. Okay, all right, for a little break from trainings.
Yeah, once you're a fighter, I crave. At the end of seasons, I always crave rest, crave breaks. And when it comes, it's never as good as I thought. I sometimes struggle through those times a bit. So, I can imagine, although I've never been through it myself with a big injury, I can't imagine what a big injury would do to a fighter. I'm sure it's really horrible.
How do you manage with how do you cope with this feeling before the fight? How do you meditate? Do you have anything like a ritual before the fight that you do?
In recent times, I've been doing Wim Hof breathing exercises. I don't know if you know the Iceman, Wim Hof, but I like his breathing exercises. I feel like the breath retention, it slows your heart down. It means that you can manage nerves and you can visualise the win. It doesn't remove fear. It has helped me feel very calm and confident before going in, and almost to the point where I was like, I'm too calm, what's going on? So you're either worried about being too nervous or you're worried about being too calm. Either way, before a fight, there is absolutely no way to avoid worries or nerves or fear of some sort. You're about to have a fight at the end of the day. So it's impossible. And if you're not nervous or scared in the slightest, or worried of some sort of thing, or you don't feel some sort of adrenaline, then you need to be worried about why you're not feeling that. Okay. And maybe it's time to have a little break and regain your motivation. I think for a lot of people, the amateurs, it can be particularly draining and things, because you're getting ready for a fight so many times in the year. Like, I've had seasons where I've had 12 fights. You
would have more fights in amateur boxing than in professional.
Yeah, so you're feeling that feeling constantly. If you're boxing week on week in the championships, you win a fight, and for your reward of winning a fight, you get out and you may have another fight the day after or the next weekend.
I find that really hard personally, having that many fights in
Oh, you found it hard.
I find it hard. Yeah, well, obviously, to hear that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Do you believe in this? Visualizing yourself winning and stuff like that. Did it work for you? Is like something that you would recommend for other fighters?
I think most fighters do it. You have to manifest it. You have to visualize it. You have to believe that it's going to happen. Because if doubt creeps in, then you're most likely going to lose. Or, if you, for whatever reason, your head's not in the game, then you're not going to perform. Boxing's a massive mental game. It's a massive head game. If your head slips, then you're not going to perform to the best that you can. So, you have to visualise and believe that you will win. Otherwise, you probably won't.
How would you, cope with I don't know if cope is the right word, but like, how would you, for example, you would be with a really famous fighter, and you're just stepping now into the professional ranks, and that, is that intimidating? Is that you feel like you will need to, prove yourself more? Like, how would you are basically gonna experience this
well, hopefully,
thinking, yes, so how do you think you're gonna cope with that?
Eventually, I do want to fight big fighters. I've fought amateur superstars, really, nationally, in this country. I've fought many kids that are on GB now, and stuff like that.
So while they were in the amateur.
Yeah, so you know who they are, and obviously, it can be a little bit intimidating, but I don't know. I sort of just believed in myself every time, and whether it came off or not, I believed in myself. If you've already fought them, that's sort of a different thing, because you know what. But if you've not boxed them before, it never bothered me hearing that they were good or this and that. I wasn't really bothered, because when you're in that mindset of training, when you feel like you've been on top form in training, boxing can give you a bit of a feeling like you're unstoppable, and you fool yourself into believing that you're, which is what you have to do, that you're unstoppable and no one's going to beat you. So, love to retire with a British title. If I get that, when I get that, should I say?
Talking about retirement, this is a thing that not a lot of athletes speak about, and that's basically where this whole idea of the podcast came from for me. So I wanna speak a little bit about how does taking a break from your sport, retirement, even different reasons, how would that impact, an athlete's or you specifically? You can give me examples if you've ever, had breaks. How would that affect an athlete? Because I am in a break / retirement from my sport, and I know it affects, a lot.
Life and mental health
and that. So I wanna speak a little bit about that. Tell me about it.
Well, I definitely experience worse mental health in times of rest, times of fighting and wanting to be fighting and not feeling overworked or over. They're the happiest times of my life.
When you were fighting.
Yeah, and full force training and knackering myself out every day.
You feel like you got addicted to it? You feel like it's like an obsession?
Yeah, massively. I'm at a stage now where I've had a break. I even tried to leave the sport at one stage. And
when was that?
Just before COVID. I thought, I'm done. I went on a complete different phase. It was sort of mad. I was in a band. Which is something that I never thought I'd do.
A band?
A band, yeah. And I was playing the bass in a band.
All right.
And I liked it, but it just didn't hit the same. After that ended, after other certain things, I just realised that this is the only thing now that can make me feel fulfilled.
All right, so you tried to do something else and
didn't work.
It just didn't work.
No, it just didn't give me the same level of happiness in life. You often hear fighters talking about in their retirement feeling. It resonates with me a lot. I feel it a lot. So if you watch Tyson Fury speaking with Carl Frampton, he went through a bad period that was very public. Not
I've seen
a few years ago. Tyson
podcast.
Fury, yeah. Like drug addict, blah blah blah. What he was going through, and a lot of that was because he lost his head with boxing, and he just slipped mentally, and he struggled to get out, and then he's come back, and he's back. He even announced his retirement, and then he said, I started feeling like I did in 2019 again, pretty quick, like straight away. So I had to come back, and he doesn't know how to quit. It's an inevitable part of every fighter's career. You're going to have to find a way eventually to not fight and stuff, because your body won't be able to do it anymore, and you'll be basically in danger. Loads of fighters speak about this. Kell Brook's been speaking about it a bit recently in the media, saying he was feeling lost, and now he's almost looking like he's going to make a comeback. So it is very hard for fighters to walk away. I feel like I've definitely reached a point now where I need this. And, it is a bit of a sad thing to say, because it is a double-edged sword. Like, you're going through a lot of hard stuff to feel happy. But
do you think that's why, sorry, making just like a little, do you think that's why some athletes are talking about, drugs consumptions when they stop doing a sport?
Yeah, they're chasing a feeling.
A feeling of yes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been affected by all of that. When I'm not doing this, my life gets drastically, I would say it does get a lot worse. Because my head isn't in as good space. Exercise is the key to mental health, in my opinion. It's the only.
I agree.
It's the only remedy for bad mental health. Nothing else will help you. Drugs won't help you. Alcohol won't help you. Socialising, speaking will help you, only to a point. You need that. You need them endorphins. You need people who never do exercise.
Well. Looking forward for something.
A purpose, yeah. People who never do exercise, they're okay because they've never known it. They've never known any better. They've never known any different. But once you've reached it to a certain point, you know how your life and your mental state is when you're doing it. So when you're not doing it, then it's drastically different, and it doesn't feel good. So yeah, for me, I definitely feel like I'm in this sport now, and I'm not going to get out until I can't do it anymore. But I think maybe there should be support for this, and you need to find a way eventually to deal with it, whether that be training but not fighting. You know, that's just still exercising is a great way.
Yeah.
But I know for me, if I don't feel like I've got something in the near future, a fight, etc., it is a bit harder to go and do the exercise. But you have to just push yourself and get in the gym and or get on the runs and just do it.
Last bit. I want to play just like little games with you, you know. I'm gonna tell you 3 keys to success, yeah, from an athlete's point of view. And I want you to pick the keys in an order that you think is the best.
Okay.
So we have the key of consistency, the key of hard work, and the key of luck. What would be 1, 2, 3 for you for a successful pathway?
So someone who trains not quite as hard as someone else but more consistently will do better than the person who trains less but harder. And then luck's just luck. It's out of your control. So I would take the consistency key first.
All right.
And then I would back that up with the hard work key, and then the luck key, just give me all the luck.
All the luck, huh?
Yeah.
All the luck come to mama.
Yeah.
All right. Can't live without, second little game. Please let me know an exercise, a meal, and a piece of equipment that you can't live without in your sport.
Oh, an exercise. I do a 10 on 10 off interval punching that I think is great for fitness. Also an exercise called fill the gap interval training that I might show you later. I've got my other little exercises what I do.
We'll show you later.
There's plenty of them.
All right.
Meal this season, because I don't like cooking. I was eating a lot of tuna and rice.
Tuna and rice.
Yeah.
Are you just giving the secret to everybody? Is that tuna and rice the secret to being a great boxer?
Probably not. You know, there's plenty of healthy meals out there. I just can't be
It's just the lazy meal.
Mayo, tuna rice in a pan, mix it up, chuck some veg in, done. You know what I mean? Protein in there.
Sounds quite good.
A piece of equipment. My boots. A good pair of boots. You need that. Maybe a groin guard. You don't want to get hit in the nuts while sparring.
I thought it would be the gloves, you know.
Well, a pair of gloves if they're good.
So you chose the boots or
your boots are like you need a good pair. Trying to do boxing stuff in trainers, I think, is crap. Some people don't mind it. I don't like it. So yeah. There we go.
And last one, build the hero. It's called. Please let me know. How would you build the perfect athlete in boxing, speed-wise, weight-wise, and power-wise?
Oh, weight. Well, weight is...
Let's think of it's like, you know, you put the pieces together and think, yeah, that's the...
Weight.
Okay. Perfect one.
So,
from the obviously existing ones now.
The only weight where you get a real advantage from your weight is probably heavyweight, as every other weight is a set weight. So you have to fit into that weight. So we're creating a heavyweight, yeah. Let's go... Any fighter of all time, modern, any. So let's go Sonny Edwards, movement and defence. I think he's the defensive master. His skill is ridiculous. And the power is the other one.
So speed, power, and weight.
Right, so let's take Tyson Fury's weight because he's massive.
He is.
Yeah. Speed. Ooh, speed. Let's take Ryan Garcia's speed.
All right.
Yeah, he's fast, you know.
He is.
And let's take Mike Tyson's power, because I don't even have to explain that, do I?
Leon Musson, future professional boxer.
keep your eye out for me, people. You know what I mean?
Keep an eye on
I'm up and coming. Keep your eyes on this podcast as well, because I think it's going places.
Thank you for our videographers as well. Lovely to have them, because without them we wouldn't have been doing any of this. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna for sure put on the screen everything.
Credits.
All the credits, because they deserve it for sure. Thank you guys, and see you soon.